you think we're good? Like, how likely is it we're getting that Gigabit coming back?
I mean, it's hard. It's always hard to say, but I mean,
Yeah.
Jax being one of the bigger picks for this man in his career, of course. I believe it's I think it's like a second or third most played champion. I can have a quick look now. Yes, third most played champion in his career. 57 games, 37 wins, and 20 losses. With this game, he'll bring it up to his second most played, which is going to be the Renekton on 58. And I mean, this guy has done magical things with this pick in the side lanes before. That's why you pick the Gragas into it. It is a very solid kind of, just absorb the pressure kind of laning phase. But we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. Both teams are locked and loaded. It is BLG with a 1-0 advantage in this series. AL looked like they had some answers, but not them all in the last test. We'll see if they can come into this particular game a little bit more prepared. Didn't spot them out, and the Viego is here as well. They're going to try and jump in onto him straight away, and they're going to try and burn him down. Welcome to the campfire, as Milio finally gets first blood. Available for Yagao if he wants to go for it. It looks like he does. The flash in. 2 men get caught in the trap.
Tracking pretty close to Xiao Hao, but we're just going to jump straight into this replay. Ben was seen here. I think this is a pretty massive mistake positioning-wise from Chui. Why walk into this bottom side? You know that Jax is coming, and it leads to this.
I think he didn't really have a choice, though. I'm going to say it was either walk into Ben or walk into Yagao.
Shun goes in.
Yeah, Shun goes in, and Shun might want to try and run out because he is being assassinated. Double TP. It's going to be the top laner and mid laner of AL and BLG, respectfully. Again, this is why the Kha'Zix is becoming a bit of an issue now in the draft phase, I suppose, because you're having those little small isolated moments. This should put AL onto Soul Point. No jungler to speak of for BLG, and no way to kind of really force themselves back in on top of this objective means Ocean Soul Point for them.
There's no turrets for them to play with either, so
they're looking for a TP. Plenty of damage coming down there. Look at this puppy go. They're trying to see if they can get on top of Elk and isolate him out. There's going to be a charm, but he's not dead just yet. Harder trying to see if he can kill him off, but they just have too much. Now Bin, with the stopwatch, keeps the rest of the team engaged. Will end up being traded back, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. No charm from Shun, not quite as practiced on the Ahri as maybe he is certain other champions, but how the hell does Elk not die?
Anyone's Legends come out the worst for that trade, not only giving over 2 kills, but using both of their summoners here. Let's look at a replay of this. I like the idea, punishing this, trying to get Elk in a very difficult position up against this terrain. But like, either Harder just doesn't have enough damage, or right here, ZDZ, because he's in stopwatch, he can't activate the cask. So he's missing out on damage.
That is so unfortunate from ZDZ to save his own life. It meant that the charm going wide ever so slightly. ZDZ doesn't have flash. Gonna have to use that explosive cast to try and catch out the Kog'Maw, who flashes away. They're gonna see if they can take him out, and they will. No stun to be found there for Yagao, but Bin is moving forward with Shun, and the resets are good. They do have enough damage, that is the question. Not quite able to get the rest of the team, but it's a 1-for-2 trade. Yes, you got the Kog'Maw, but you trade it back in your favor.
Floated around as we get right into this replay. Shun playing very excellently, mechanically speaking, just dodging out on a lot of skill shots. And while Elk is kind of just tossed around and unable to have too much fun, the fact that Shun can find these resets, make up for the rest of his team, having some pretty big mechanical failures there, is awesome. This continues that idea that we had thought that this team can really carry from anywhere. Last game it was Yagao and Shun. Seems like right now all eyes are on Shun while Elk is still building his items.
There's a pink now on the back of that pit, but that means that they're not going to see Bin and Shun kind of roaming on this. They know that he's here. They're looking for the Kog'Maw, but I don't think you're going to get it. Let's see a TP from Yagao to bring him right back to his own mid lane. Bin and Shun looking to pincer in here, but AL keeping themselves relatively close together. Harder had to flash. He knows he needs that Spirit Rush. ZDZ getting jumped on here, but it's actually Shun who has to go golden. Can they protect their jungler? No, they cannot, is the short answer. Maybe there's a little bit of a trade back, but a double kill comes in from ZDZ. AL will get themselves onto Soul Point. Or maybe it's Soul Point. They're on Soul right now, and BLG, they're just a bit too scrappy.
Ashin? Are we about to see another upset here for BLG? It's looking very likely with how this game is going. They're moving straight over to the Baron now. And only Elk and On are alive. I mean, Bin pushing out this top side. He's trying to get as much work done as possible. Maybe he tries to overextend for a tier 2, but there's just no avenue for BLG to move in right now.
Oh, they gotta be careful though. CDZ sitting there off to the side. Do they let this Baron go? I think they do. Yeah, they're trying to back themselves away. Bin thought about it, but it's just too risky. There's just no way the health bars are low enough on the side of AL. So massive swing of gold brings AL into the forefront of the gold lead. They've got themselves a soul as well. They are looking pretty good to maybe get themselves another game in this best of 3, because again, just Elk getting caught out a little bit. It forces the TP from Yagao, which I actually think is the biggest problem here, because On is able to get away from Harder, and that means that Harder is just, you know, kind of overextended, but he's able to get out with the flash.
I was wondering, I mean, Yagao is just nowhere near this fight. BLG maybe feeling a tiny bit disoriented as to what they should be doing right now. Which is, hey, we're grouping, we're going to try and make sure that we're protecting our Kog'Maw, we're getting vision where we can, and staking a claim on jungle entrances. I think the most important one is going to be this Raptors on the red side. It stops them from entering Baron, it controls a large portion of the map as well, entering mid lane. Instead, they say, hey, Yagao and Elk, you're nowhere near in DPS threat range. Let's just have Shun and Bin duke it out amongst the rest of the AL team.
But I would think him out just yet. There's going to be a good charm and Spirit Rush from the side of Harder to make sure he does not go down. But while this is happening, you committed members to the top side. That means that mid lane is exposed. You should be able to get back to defend just in time here with Elk and On, but not going to quite really work out for the side of BLG. And you can feel it. They're feeling like they need to go for something a little bit more drastic, a little bit more desperate to make sure they can come out of this on top.
Right now, it seems like they're waiting for Elk to finish this third item, which looks to be a Wit's End, making sure that he can stay alive. Bin has his Hull Breaker, recognizing that this game is looking a tiny bit shocked if everything keeps going the way it has. With this Rune-Ons, BLG should not be afraid of a mid lane being collapsed, but top lane right now with so many wards, with so many ways for anyone's Legend to jump over this wall, unless they start to put down vision, it can be very scary for them to walk in a fog of war.
Trying to see if they can catch somebody out with Harder on a charm, but look at the shred. Gotta be very careful. ZDZ gets himself over the wall. Not quite able to burn any summoners just yet, but Elk's already down so low. These two cannons should be fine to take down the last tier 2 in the top side. And that should be an easy little rotation out for AL. They got a couple of things. It's not a huge swing of pressure, but it's enough for them to get enough kind of, you know, of these towers down and make it harder for the side of BLG to get into their own jungle.
I'll take a 3,500 Baron lead off of that. I feel good about that. 25 seconds means by the time they get back to lane, it is going to be over once they reach the inhibitor, so really no point in doing all that. 2.5 minutes before this dragon. Ashin, this is the only way BLG can get back. Split pushing is not an option right now. The team fights are not going very well. Almost everyone is behind in gold to their counterpart. If they can steal the Elder Dragon, that execute by itself is the great equalizer for these two. But they just can't walk into their own side of the jungle.
Baron does get taken away, so they're not going to have that for the moment, at least. Bin looking to maybe be aggressive, but again, what engage do you have? It has to come from Yagao. He has to be on a flank, find a bit of pocket of vision where he's not being spotted out, and maybe BLG have enough damage to maybe burst out the Ahri and the Lucian, but we'll have to wait and see. If they can keep Elk alive, that could be another win condition for them, but they really want this final tier 2. Here we go. They're going to try and flash in, try and get on top of this Lucian. He doesn't go down just yet. They threw everything at him, and he still stays alive. Didn't even have to burn his flash because Bin wasn't there. It just feels like, yes, you're going for it, but you need to go as a 5-man unit. You can't be going in 4v5.
Just nothing is working out for BLG, and AL are in prime position. They are in pole position for them to just completely run over the rest of this game. 1.5 minutes before that Elder, they have, even whenever they're taking damage, Ocean Soul is healing them back up. Bin forcing the flash out of a couple members, but a re-engage on the table.
It's difficult, but you can see that AL still need to respect it. This Kog'Maw can do damage. You're so close to a Rabadon's death cap here as well for the Annie. Would love to have that finished up just before this Elder Drake fight. And this game isn't over. This game could just straight up be flipped over who gets the Elder and who doesn't.
Well, we get to take a look at this replay as to what happened. I feel bad, obviously, for Shun, but AL just played this so well. The bouncy house castle that Shun had to deal with of Nami ultimate, Gragas ultimate, And then harder with the Ari. Those these jumps are just so difficult to lock down any member of anyone's Legends, and so they're going to continue to compile that gold lead. 3,000 for them. And this is a roster of fresh faces, some of them from other previous iterations of the roster, but Chichoye coming in his debut split, having a fantastic performance against one of the best bot lanes here in the LPL.
Oh, there's a good charm onto Elk, which means he's already so low. On has to flash away while Xiaohao keeps chase. They've gotten rid of the Viego. Now they're going to try and kill off the Kog'Maw, and they will do just that. The resets, the hops, the skips, the jumps. AL found their mark. BLG just could not get their Kog'Maw going. They wanted to try and see if the Milio Kog'Maw was worth it, but it shall look like it will be going to a 0-3 scoreline here in the LPL. Xiaohao still trying to see if he can find out where Bin went, but not to be done for the moment, and he's all alone in the world. I don't think Bin can 1v5 as much as he tries.
He's going to be sitting under his Fountain or Nexus turrets here. 15 seconds before Shun is alive. Elk, same thing. AL, they're going to have to push the boundaries here, get really close and intimate with some of these turrets.
Yeah, they're going to try, but already Bin just cannot hold the line. He's going to go into a stopwatch. He had his Zhonya's for the last second, but it's going to send us to a game 3. 6 games in the day. And AL get themselves back on the board. 1-1 now with a scoreline.